Hey, we got Louis Cartaya on the podcast, Legally Exhausted, podcast number 3. Devilishly handsome Louis Cartaya, world famous criminal attorney, personal injury attorney. What other stuff do you do? You did some NFL football cases you had?
Yeah. I represented about 70 NFL players on the concussion side of things.
Anybody cool? You can tell us about or no?
No, I can't tell you their names.
Come on, dude. Come on.
No, there's a few that I had on my fantasy football team before,
Okay.
and I would joke around and be like, better not leave us because you left me that one day where you didn't get those extra 5 yards and be on the ball.
That's hilarious. They're like, you're not going to screw me over because I screwed over your fantasy football league, right? Cool. What other stuff you do besides you do like personal injury, the NFL stuff?
I do NFL stuff. A lot of people call me for just. I always tell everyone just call me because I have other friends that that are on other areas that I refer cases to. But for the most part, just criminal and PI because it's what I know. I don't like to step outside of.
I hate stepping outside of my bounds because it takes up all my time, and it's usually for a favor.
Oh, it's
and favors never get paid.
Exactly.
Never get paid. Hey, Abe, I need you to write a letter to scare somebody. Can you scare somebody? I'm like, I scare people for a living. I don't want to scare somebody for you, though.
Sometimes I don't want to do it, but I'm like, all right, I know this guy. I've known this guy for 20 whatever years or whatever. I'm like, look, you draft the letter. Draft it out. I'll review it. Okay, I'll review it.
You're
make
crazy,
changes,
dude.
And then maybe,
no.
if it looks good, maybe I'll send it out.
You're too nice. If anybody wants a nasty letter sent out, you can email Louis Cartaya at 123@gmail.com. You can type it up and he'll put it on his letterhead.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No, dude, I stopped doing those letters. My brother is the worst person. He calls me all the time. I need you to scare this guy. He owes me money. I'm like, well, just no. Well, come on, dude, help me out. No.
Well, in my family, it's gotten worse because now, I guess, I don't know, they think I have like a magic wand or something. Now my aunt's like, I need you to call DirecTV for me because they added blah, blah, blah. I'm like, so the fuck what? You call them. What do I have to do with your DirecTV plan?
Yeah, no, my favorite is my mom. She literally tells people, my son is a lawyer, I will sue you over the dumbest things. Like, I don't know, like her dry cleaning was late or something weird. It's so weird, dude. She's like, if somebody calls you from a dry cleaner, okay, this is what happened.
Let them know your business.
Yeah, I was like, no, Mom, I'm not taking those calls. Sorry, love you, but no. That's funny, man. So, where you grew up here in Boca? You grew up in Canada. You grew up in Boca.
Well, I was born in Cuba. I left when I was 7.
Look at those beautiful blue eyes. Born in Cuba. Wow.
You can zoom in.
Yeah, zoom in on that.
Yeah. These are the bread makers right here.
Right.
No, I was born in Cuba. I left when I was 7. I went back every year to visit my family and stuff like that while I lived in Toronto. My dad moved to Toronto first. And then one day when I was about 13, my dad's shoveling snow and he just runs inside the house and he's like, fuck this. We're moving to Florida.
What, did he say that or did he say, oye, hermano?
Oye, hermano, I'm adentro. No, tenemos que ir también.
Coño.
No, but after, literally he said, I remember him running in and saying that and not like less than 6 months later, like the house was sold. We were on our way to Florida.
Cool.
And he didn't want to go to Miami like all the other Cubans, which thank God. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad, for not sending us to Hialeah. Praise the Lord. We went to Boca Raton, and I just, I don't want to leave.
Yeah, Boca's great. I grew up in Miami Beach. We moved here when I was 10. My brother got a tennis scholarship to play at FAU. He'd just taken the Miami-Dade Barracudas, Miami-Dade Community College Barracudas, to national championship.
Nice.
The guy who was supposed to play doubles broke his foot or something, and they said, Gatone, you're up. So my brother went up, and he's got a different last name to me, and so he gets up, and he plays, and they won national doubles tournament. So now he's on this like celebrity tour, gets to play tennis at FAU College, tells the coach he's a fat fuck and a baldy, and doesn't know how to coach, and if he knew how to coach, he'd be a better player, and so he got kicked off the team.
Oh, wow.
And lost his scholarship.
Damn.
Yeah. But he's doing great now.
That's how you ended up in Boca?
That's how I ended up in Boca.
Right.
My mom, Cuban mother, is like, no. We have to be close to you.
Right.
And he's like, but Mom, I'm trying to escape you. And she's like, no, there's no escape from me. I'm your mother. We're going to live and die together.
So let me ask you this: why haven't you been athletic? Were you athletic?
I have zero athleticism in my body.
I don't.
This build is just for show.
I don't remember ever you saying, "Oh, I'm going to go play basketball or tennis."
No, I'm really unathletic. My brother got all of the athleticism. He could do any sport well. I can do any sport poorly.
You got you.
Yeah, I have zero athleticism.
Don't you have some photos of you, like we're working out in FAU or when you were in college?
Dude, if that photo ever surfaces, I will kill you. I used to work out, but that was it.
You got to put this. When you edit this, you got to put that photo up.
No, you're dead. You're dead, dude.
Please.
You're dead. I will kill you.
I'll pay top dollar.
Top dollar. There's a lot of people pay top dollar to see photos of me, but they're not gonna be me working out.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing like an only lawyers thing where you can get lawyers for $5, quick legal advice, but with your clothes on. But never came to fruition.
See, you lost my interest when you said with your clothes on.
There's not many people want to see me with my clothes off, so I don't know. I'd probably get zero income.
Not you.
You?
Yeah.
Okay.
Zooming on the blue.
Wait, are you wearing pants under there?
No.
Wait. So cool. So so I ended up here in Boca when I was 10, and then I went to Boca Middle, Boca High, FIU for law. Where'd you go to law school?
Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, okay, cool.
I applied really late to law school, and I wanted to go in like the top 100 schools or whatever. So I looked at what schools are still accepting applications. I think I applied to Marquette, Denver, and school starts in August. And in April, no one still had responded. So I'm like, my dad's like, what are you gonna do? I mean, you got to move somewhere. And I'm like, all right, let me just call them and see where it's at. So I called Denver. They said they'd get back to me. I called Louisville, and as soon as I called the dean of admissions, like, we're actually reviewing your file right now. I'm like, okay, like we'll give you a call back in an hour. And they gave me a call back in an hour. Like, you're accepted. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to Louisville, Kentucky. I had never been.
Okay.
So the week after, me and my dad went up there to check things out and find a place to live and all that. And
cool. Did he move up there with you?
No.
Oh,
he just wanted to come with me and check things out and look at places and all that. But I don't regret it. Louisville's awesome. Louisville's awesome. I mean, the rest of Kentucky's but the city of Louisville's very progressive. Very.
Wait, are you a liberal?
I'm not.
Let's get him off the show, then.
Come on.
Conservatives only.
I don't discuss these things.
I'm just kidding. A little closer to you, please. I'm just kidding. For any viewers, for any of our 50 viewers out there that are liberals, like, don't worry, it's okay. We'll get them after the show. So
I'm gonna vote for your boy. Don't worry.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Santis, love you, baby.
Yeah. For president too.
Governor first, then president, or VP, whichever one.
I think he could beat out. If it came down to him and Trump, I think he could beat out Trump.
No, dude, he wouldn't run against a master blaster like that. I don't see. I said VP because I said maybe Trump is going to run. Trump is going to run, but we'll see. I don't know. I love Trump when he's not on Twitter. That's scary, Trump.
Yeah,
that's scary because he says what he feels, and sometimes you shouldn't say that as a politician. But DeSantis, who I met, is super polished. The guy is super polished, super on point on everything. He knows his stuff.
Absolutely.
So he's freaking a rock star. So cool. So yeah, I went to FIU Law. My mom was like, you can live. We lived in Del Rey at the time. She's like, you could live here with me, 22 years old. Live with me and just drive to Miami every day for class. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm going to move. I got to get out of here. I'm 22 now and I'm still living at home. So I went down there, but I only applied to 2 schools. That's the only school. Oh, you applied to a couple schools?
I applied to a couple because it was so late. I mean, I had to get my chances up.
Yeah, I went to FIU. I went to FIU, but I applied to FIU and Nova. Nova accepted me early on.
But Nova's private, right? It's more expensive.
It's private. It was way more expensive. Yeah. I don't remember. I think I was like paying $6,000, $7,000 a year for law school at FIU.
To UM and UM.
You got accepted to UM?
I got accepted to UM and UM because it was one of the ones that was still accepting applications. But UM was like, it was more for me to go to UM and commute from here than it would be for me to move to Louisville, get a place, and go to Louisville, like all together by like a lot too. Like I think like. It ended up costing me like $30,000 with room and board for Louisville per year.
Okay.
And UM was just $50,000 just for the school. That's it.
Wow.
Your education. That's crazy.
Okay. Yeah, FIU was super cheap, and then but the cost of living was kind of expensive over there. I graduated with $100,000 in debt. What did you graduate with?
Oof.
Less than that? More?
Oof, yeah.
More? Did you have undergrad debt?
Let's not talk. Let's not.
Did you, really?
Let's not.
Really?
Let's not discuss my debt.
Wow.
On this show.
Sorry.
It's the only debt I have, but let's not discuss that debt.
Student loan debt is outrageous.
Oh, it's
dude.
crazy.
Student loan
It's
debt is outrageous.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy. I'm hoping for maybe forgiveness, or maybe I'll get one of these big cases settled and then just
a meteor crash down on Sally Mae or whoever funded it.
Yeah, no, it's federal. It's federal.
Oh, I have no idea.
At least I got the federal.
I remember I was. They put an eviction notice on my door while I was in law school studying for the bar. Studying for the bar, they put an eviction notice on my door. I'm like, I was like, what am I supposed to do? And I was getting that. They have like a $10,000 private loan for the bar exam. Like it's literally just for the bar exam. And I had to take. I was taking it out. Yeah, and I was waiting for it. And I go over. I remember going to the people. I'm like, listen. I knock on the door, and it's in Miami, and they only speak Spanish. And my Spanish back then was, let's just say, mierda. It was really bad. So I'm going, and the lady's talking to me in Spanish.
Good now?
It got a little better.
Yeah?
It got a little better, yeah. So I go down and I talk to the lady, and she's like talking to me in Spanish, and I'm like, I don't know what she's saying, but I'm like, listen, I need 3 days. I was like, give me 3 days. She's like, no, 3 days is, we put the notice on your door already. She's like, I need 3 more days. She's like, no.
She's like, haven't you been studying this 3 days?
Yeah, I know. And then the next day, the funding came through, and I went over with cash, and I paid my rent, but like literally while I'm studying for the bar, it was freaking crazy.
That's stressful, man.
Yeah, as if studying for the bar wasn't stressful enough. But luckily, it was just like 3 or 4 day window.
I heard the story the other day that I don't know, it was like 3 or 4 years ago. There's a in the bar that we do at Tampa whatever center.
Oh, the Tampa Convention Center. Yeah,
and like right across the water there's a hotel.
Okay.
So apparently there was some people taking the bar, staying at that hotel. And in the break in the middle, like you got an hour break, between the two sections.
Yeah, like a lunch break.
Right, a lunch break. And in that break, they ran over to the hotel to like get something or whatever, and the elevator got stuck.
No.
Yeah. And there was like 4 of them in the elevator, and obviously the bar's like, yeah, so what? It's not our fault. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And they got screwed. Yeah.
4 people in the elevator. What were they doing? Having a party?
No, they were going back to the hotel to get like, I don't know, maybe they had like their lunch back. I don't know what it was, but they went back there to get something in the hotel. Like
that's their own damn fault. Like
I wonder if you could sue the hotel. You know what I mean? I wonder if you could go after the hotel for all the damages. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you don't know about the bar exam, you can only take it 2 times a year. Like February and July is the 2 times you could take it, and if you don't pass it, you got to take it the next time. So let's say it happened in July and you got stuck in an elevator. You have to wait till February, which means you got to pay your student loan debt back, right? You can't get a job as a lawyer, so you're making pennies compared to what you could be making.
Yeah, if you have like a job offer, if you have a job offer pending on.
Oh my God! Yeah. And then the job offer, yeah, we'll hire you if you pass your bar. Yeah, and it's like, oh shit, I got a story about that.
There's an elevator. They're like, I don't care.
I don't care. That's their own damn fault, dude. Because when I took the bar exam, I literally had like a peanut butter jelly sandwich for lunch, and I went right back.
Yeah, I just walked
waited because I didn't want anything to happen. Do you have any weird stories after the bar exam?
After the bar exam?
Like of the bar exam? My buddy that I took the test with, he was robbed at gunpoint studying for the bar. Jeez. Like a month beforehand. He got robbed at gunpoint at the FIU library at 5 a.m. by a 15-year-old kid who had a criminal history already.
Right.
And after we took the bar, like the second, it's like 2 days. At the end of the second day, he just like stripped down to his shorts and jumped into that water in the convention center.
Nice.
He's like, he went nuts, and he's like, I'm like free, and he jumped in, and I'm like, we were supposed to go out and celebrate after this, and now you're covered in like lake water or whatever that is. Is that a bay? It's Tampa Bay. Yeah.
I think it's Tampa
Bay. It's Tampa Bay. No, it is because now there's like a boat ramp there, and I went on boats with my kids.
But I do remember thinking like the days before the bar exam, I've been studying. Well, I do have a funny story actually. I was playing a lot of golf when I got out of law school, and you have like 3 months, right? 3 months to prepare.
Yeah.
And so I was playing a lot of golf, and at first I was keeping up with my I took Kaplan, I think, with my bar studies with Kaplan, right? And then it got a little bit out of hand on the golf side of it, and I was playing more golf than anything. And I remember one of my friends taking the bar calls me, and she goes, She goes, hey, you know, I wanted to know your opinion on this question or whatever. So I started flipping the page, and she's like, yeah, this one. And I read it, and I was like, Alicia, I have no idea what this question means. She's like which part? I'm like, none of it. And she goes, you know the bar exam's in 3 weeks, right? And I'm like, there's no fucking way it's in 3 weeks. And I looked at the calendar, and I was like, oh my God, it's in 3 weeks. So I gave my phone away. I shut down everything, and for 3 weeks straight, 16 hours, I wouldn't watch TV, I wouldn't play video games, I wouldn't talk to anyone. 16 hours every day for 3 weeks just to catch up. And I passed the first time. Okay. But it was like, it was intense because I had it those 3 months before.
That's insane.
Yeah. I lost my mind. So I thought after the bar, I was going to like party. I was like, oh man, I can't wait. Because after that second day, after it's over, I'm going to party so hard. And after that second day, after I got out, I was so drained that all I wanted to do was go to sleep. It was like weird. It was like I was like not even that happy. I was just like sad and.
You're a dangerous man, dude. After I graduated from law school, when you graduated in May, something like May, right?
Yeah.
And then the next day, I started preparing for the bar exam, 16 hours a day.
I started well.
The bar exam.
I started well, but I started well for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then I started doing more golf and less studying, and then I don't know, but it worked out in the end.
Yeah,
crunch time.
There you go.
I'm good at crunch time.
You're good at crunch time.
I'm good at crunch time. Yeah, fourth quarter. You know, I don't want to use that analogy because I'm really bad at basketball.
I was going to say fourth quarter. I get that's like the only sports analogy I get. Cool. So tell me about that pin on your shirt, by the way, because I asked you about it earlier, and you're like, save it for the podcast.
This is it's the Santiago. It's like the symbol of Santiago. Basically, it's I did a walk with my sister. It's supposed to be a religious pilgrimage. You know, I'm not very religious. I believe in God and everything, but I'm not very religious. But it's supposed to, it's supposed to have you look internally and see things, that are wrong with you. Maybe that you could, it's a lot of time for reflection. It's there's different paths that you can take it, and it's basically. The path that we took was from Porto, Portugal, to Santiago, which is it's Santiago de Compostela in Spain. It's like a church.
Oh, so from Portugal.
So it's like a pilgrimage, pretty much.
Okay.
And the one that we did was about 200 miles, and we did it was like 200 miles over 12 days. And so you walk anywhere from 13 to 20 miles a day, and then you stop, sleep. You know what I mean? Wake up, do it again. And it was, it was
just
awesome.
Go from city to city, like in a hostel or something, like.
And you could do it different ways. You could backpack it. I did it the nicer way. I got all the Airbnbs and beforehand.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Cool.
Which is also good because then you're motivated to get to that area. You have to get to that spot.
Okay.
As opposed to like, oh man, I'm tired now. Let's just stop here.
Which clearly won't work for you because you'll be playing golf in the middle of the
correct. I would have if I would have done it that way. That would have never gotten finished. I'd still be out there. But no, it's awesome, and it's beautiful. And the one that I've heard all of them are beautiful. All the routes are beautiful, but the one that we took was up the coast of Portugal and Spain. And every day it was just like the most amazing seafood. Like you go to these like little towns, and it just have like a town of fishermen, like all these fishing boats or whatever. I'd be like, let's go to that restaurant right there in the corner, and it would be like the freshest like fish that you've ever had. Awesome. It was awesome. It was super cool. Yeah. I bonded a lot with my sister, and I recommend it to anyone. It was awesome. Camino de Santiago.
Awesome. So you do criminal stuff, you do PI stuff. Tell me about. You talked about the NFL stuff a little bit, but tell me about the what's a fun criminal case, crazy criminal case?
I've had a few. The one that sticks out in my head. I had when I first started practicing, I worked with Douglas Rudman, who has his office here in Boca Raton. Amazing lawyer. I still work with him sometimes. We do trials together if I need help on a trial. But I remember we had a client who got arrested for doing, I think it was four drive-bys, 4 days in a row at the same location.
And he had money for a lawyer?
His parents or whatever gathered money from the. Sorry, I'm still banging on the table. So basically it was in the hood. So like the first shooting. No one called the cops. The second shooting, the cops showed up late. No one said anything. The third shooting, same thing. And like the fourth time, the kids, the guy that he was shooting at, the mother's like, all right, this is enough. I'm calling the cops. So
wow.
So the cops came, and then and
he kept doing a drive by at the same house.
Same house. At the
same
same house.
He's not even slick about it.
No, I know. So it's not slick at all. And it was with he was shooting like a 22, which
a 22. You're not gonna hit anybody with that, dude. You got at least a 9mm. Jeez.
So then someone finally pointed him out. And
he should go to jail for shooting a 22 and not even a 9mm. What's wrong with this guy? Is he trying to do the work or not?
Well, I remember I'm reading all this stuff, and Doug's like, "Hey, you gotta go to jail to visit the guy. He has something to tell you. He's cracked the case." And I was like, "All right." And like I'm brand new, so I'm going to jail by myself to visit. And this is like I'm like a baby Laura to visit this guy who's done like 4 drive-by shootings. So I was a little scared.
How old was that guy?
I don't know if that's giving you too much information. That
early 20s.
Look him up. I think younger than that.
Oh,
younger than that. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
at least he's ambitious. 4 times, 10x baby, 10x. Yeah.
So apparently the guy had shot this guy, the other guy, because they were in prison together. And he set his balls on fire. The other guy set his balls on fire. Yeah, and so when he got out, he told everyone in the neighborhood
that I set his balls on fire.
Balls on fire. So when he got out, everyone's like, I heard that dude set your balls on fire. He's like, I'm gonna get him. That was like the base the motive.
How do you? I don't even know where to start. Like one. Why is he even close to this man's balls? 2, how do you set balls on fire?
I guess they were bunked together. They were in the same cell. But that's what I want to know.
Because that's different than getting burned, which is like getting an STD. Are we talking about?
No, we're talking about like fire.
Fire. Okay.
And so that's what I want to know. Like, how did he in a jail cell get fire? But I guess in jail you can sneak things in and stuff like that. But
like a lighter and some cotton under his balls.
I don't know the specifics of how it happened. And I do want to know because how do you get a lighter in there? But anyway, so that's
he was tickling me, and then he lit him on fire.
They were getting kinky. I don't know, but yeah. So that was the basis of it, and then so I show up and to the jail to visit him. He's got the biggest smile on his face that I'm there because he's cracked the case, and he
the client cracked the case, or
the client cracked the case.
Okay.
He has this big smile on his face. He's like, I got to talk to you. So I get in there, and with the biggest smile on his face, he's like, Hey man, Doug told me you were coming. Awesome man, nice to meet you. He's like, yeah, I figured it out. I'm like, all right. He's like, yo. That guy can't identify me because I know that guy wears glasses. He wasn't wearing glasses that day. And I was like, so you want me to tell the prosecutor that he wasn't wearing glasses that day and that you know that because you were there and that puts you on the scene? And he's like, huh, I didn't really think about that. I'm like, dude, you're in jail. You have all the time to think about everything.
What does he think? You're my cousin Vinny? There's that scene where he had the tape measure out. And the old lady, he's like, can you see from 8 feet away or something like that? And and she's like, she takes off her glasses and she can't see anything.
Right.
Yeah, that's reminding me of that movie right now. That's hilarious.
So so that was one of the funniest. I was like, dude, that doesn't work that way. But we ended up doing a really good job for him in that case and getting him a great result.
Like not the death penalty?
No. we got him a great result in the case. I can't.
Okay.
Obviously, I can't go into that because maybe that's too much information.
Yeah, that's okay.
Maybe if I give you like the.
But he was happy. He was happy.
Oh, he was super happy.
Okay.
He was super happy.
I'd be happy not getting the death penalty doing 4 drive-bys. I mean, shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, 1, you get the job done the first time, okay? 2, I'm proud of his ambition, but like, there's other things you can focus on in life.
Right.
Trying to think. So
I just move. If someone set my balls on fire, I just move neighborhoods. You know what I mean? I just be like, I guess I'm not living here anymore. I don't want to be that guy,
Oh man!
And it's not crazy. Like it's not gonna follow me around to another neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Depending on how far I go.
People talk.
That's true.
People talk.
Social media too.
Social media. You can't escape now, dude.
You can't escape it.
So you just had. Can we talk about that other case we had in Fort Myers? You want to talk about that?
Oh yeah.
That was a good case.
Yeah.
That was impressive. I was like, damn. That was a good case.
You know, Fort Myers, that whole area right there, I think they file a lot of things that they shouldn't file, which I don't think is fair.
Overzealous prosecutor.
Yeah, overzealous prosecution. I think, I don't know. It sucks to see things that in Palm Beach, for example, wouldn't even see the light of day. Like the filing attorney would just look at it and be like, "I'm not going to file this." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is one of those cases where I was like, "There's no way they're going to file this thing." And then they filed it, and then after we showed them a bunch of evidence to the contrary, they still kept going with it. And I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
You know, what are you trying to get from this? There's nothing here. You don't have a case." You know?
I can talk about that case. I mean,
Yeah.
what am I gonna say everything? So I was representing a lady for an auto accident. She was driving down a hill, and at the bottom of the hill, somebody hit her. She stops her car. The other guy pulls off. So then she ends up getting hit by a bunch of like huge commercial trucks. That one of them slams into her, and the cop shows up. She doesn't speak any English. She's in Fort Myers, a very Anglo area. She's very, very upset, emotional, and then, as she should be, and the cop writes her a ticket and says, "You were stopped in the middle of the road," and neglects to mention anything in the police report about another car hitting her and then taking off. He neglects that, says, "No, you were here," says that there's fraud. There's no body cam footage, no dash cam footage.
Yeah, there was a hit and run that hit her. And then her tire exploded.
Exploded.
And then because of the impact, and so she just stopped the car in the middle of the road, which is I get it. Like she stopped the car in the middle of the road. She shouldn't have done that.
Right.
But that's not fraud. You know what I mean?
Right.
So she stopped the car in the middle of the road, and she got out. And I guess when he was writing the report, he failed to mention the hit and run car. He just said the tire blew out. Mm-hmm. So later on, they hire you.
They hired me to represent her. I'm representing her. The commercial company that hit her was like, "Hey, we'll pay. We accept responsibility because our driver should have been on the lookout, should have been alert. We're gonna compensate her for 25-50% of her injuries, but she was also stopped in the road, so that's her fault." And so we were like, "Okay, we could live with this. This is kind of fair. It makes sense." But her PIP insurance company, the guy who works at her PIP insurance company said, "Oh, this is fraud. Don't pay that claim," to the commercial insurance company. "Don't pay that claim." He's taking her statement and is bullying her in the statement to the point where I had to come over because another lawyer in my office was like, "Hey, this guy's bullying the lady. Like, you need to get involved." So I get involved. I asked the guy, I was like, "Do you like yelling at women? Do you have some kind of fetish for yelling at women? Did your mom not love you?" Yeah, it was all in the transcript. I don't mess around, man. Don't bully my clients, all right? I get dealt with. So he recommends to the police that they file charges. The prosecutor filed charges against her for insurance fraud. His whole thing was that she was not in the car when the commercial truck hit her. Right. But at the same time, there's no evidence to the contrary. He just said, "Oh, I got a gut feeling." And the guy has a very large, in his defense, a very large stomach. So
don't discriminate.
But I was like, And so on his hunch, they pressed charges against her, and they wanted you guys to settle. Right?
Yeah. Well, no, that's the other thing too. So the prosecutor wouldn't even give me an offer. This is like our first time offense. You know what I mean? And I was like, "Is this guy ever going to give me an offer?" And the case got dropped literally like 2 days before trial.
Yeah.
So we had done depositions, we had done everything, and I was like, "When is this guy going to drop it?" Because one of the things that I thought that the case was hinging on. I mean, you have to get all elements of the crime. There has to be a statement. The statement has to be false. Okay, and then you have to ask for money or whatever, get money. But the statement has to be false. So there has to be evidence that the statement was false. And I was like, what evidence do you have that there wasn't a car? You know what I mean? Like,
what was the statement in the first place? Because I don't even think they have a statement.
Well, that's the thing. What statement? Are you saying that she lied about another car hitting her? And if that's the case, what evidence? I mean, if there's a guy, if you send me evidence of a guy in the middle of the highway filming her, and there's no car, then I'm like, "Oh, there's your evidence. Okay, now you can prove your fraud case, right?"
Yeah.
But if there's no evidence that a car didn't hit her, how are you gonna prove that element? You're just gonna be like, oh, we think she lied. You can't.
Yeah,
you can't do
and
that.
there was a definite impact to that car. I mean, she got hit, she got smashed. That
Right.
car was destroyed. Yeah.
So and then the other thing. So I thought that they were relying on something on the report that the investigator said. The investigator said that he talked to one of the nurses that she treated with, and the nurse said, "Oh yeah, I remember them. I remember overhearing them talking about how they got back in the car right. They got out of the car and they got back in the car right before the car hit." And I'm like, all right, if what he's saying is true, and that lady said that, then maybe they might have a case for fraud. That sounds pretty fraudulent. So we did a deposition and we depoted the nurse, and the nurse said, "I have no recollection of saying that." She's like, "I would remember if I said that. I never said that."
I know that nurse, and the nurse, I was pissed because she told me the day after the depot. She said, "Yeah, I did the depot," and I said, "Why didn't you call me first and tell me?" She's like, "Oh, I didn't even think about it. They told me I had to go, and it was like they gave her like a day's notice to do the depot." It's crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean it was the co-defendant's attorney that noticed her.
Oh, okay.
But either way, she's like, "I never said that." So then after that deposition, I was like, I called the prosecutor and I was like, "Okay, now you're gonna dismiss it, right?" And he's like, and he didn't respond. So I'm like, what's it gonna take? So finally, I consulted with Justin Berlin, who's another attorney down in Broward. Great attorney, super smart, and we do a lot of cases together too. And we brainstorm and everything. He's like, "Why don't you file a motion for bill of particulars?" So basically, the information on the case, it said that she may have said something to these insurance companies, or had someone else say something to these insurance companies. And this statement was false, and these are it was like the whole information
Very
was like
vague and generic.
Yeah, very vague.
The information is
the filing document.
Criminal
Is the criminal filing document.
Yeah, it's the criminal
this is
version
what
of a
she did
lawsuit.
wrong. Right.
It's like their statement
their
of
complaint.
Yeah,
Right.
Right.
So I was like, that's genius. So we filed a motion for bill of particulars, and motion for bill of particulars is saying, "Judge, we don't know what she did wrong. We based on the information, we have no idea. Please have the state point it out, saying this is the statement. The statement was made here. You can find this in the in discovery. This statement was false, and we know it's false because of this." So we laid all that out in the motion, and then we set the motion for a hearing. And the day before, the trial was set for 2 days ahead, and the day before trial was the hearing. And the day before the hearing, we get a call from the prosecutor. The prosecutor's like, "Hey, I just want to let you know I'm gonna drop it." And I think he finally was going through the motion for bill of particulars and going, "Wow, I don't have anything to fill in right here."
Yeah.
So I think that's why he finally dropped it. But it was a pain in the ass. In that case, in Palm Beach, that case wouldn't even gotten filed.
Yeah, and the sad thing is that there was two women that were in that car that day. They were both charged. One got you, another got another lawyer in Miami, and I think not your client. One of the women spent 3 days in jail.
The other one.
One of the women was in Miami, so they had to
transfer to Fort Myers.
Arrest her, put her in custody in Dade, transfer her to Fort Myers. She lost her job.
Right.
I mean, she's behind on bills, and then she had to pay thousands of dollars for an attorny.
Yeah, man,
and it's crazy. Just so that they dismiss it.
Right.
And they had zero evidence, and this is when a lot of things go wrong, right? It's like this idiot adjuster at the insurance company who thinks that he knows it all, thinks that there's fraud. So he tells the commercial insurance company, "Don't pay that bill, there's fraud, I have evidence of it, don't pay." So they originally sent me a letter saying, "Hey, we'll pay like up to half or something, cover injuries." And then they sent me another letter, "Hey, we're denying it for possible fraud."
And when I talked to that insurance, I said, "So you wouldn't have even said anything or started an investigation if this other guy hadn't contacted you, right?"
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't have."
Yeah. And then on top,
it was all because of that one.
That one guy, he's got a chip on his shoulder. This guy, I can't stand that guy. I ended up. Because of that, I ended up doing like 15 other EUOs, examinations under oath, like statements in person. I ended up driving to Fort Myers every Thursday to take statements because he would for all my clients, he was basically taking their statement because they all had one theme in common. They all spoke Spanish only, no English. And I was like, this is a little suspect. But that guy was wrong. The prosecutor, the police shouldn't have filed charges. The prosecutor shouldn't have, what are the police filed the charges?
For this one, the police did a warrant request. So basically, the investigator says, "Hey, this is all the evidence we have." Sent it to the prosecutor. The prosecutor reviews it. Then sent it to the judge to get a warrant on it.
Yeah. So there were just multiple failings. Yeah. They should have never even filed that charge.
No, they shouldn't.
They had zero evidence of any fraud.
Right,
it was all made by that guy.
It was insane. That's why when I read the report, I was like, why would they even? I mean, in Palm Beach, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like they don't have bigger things to do.
Right.
So yeah, that was, and I feel really bad for that lady. She's a super nice lady, hardworking.
I feel bad for both of them. Yeah. Especially that one that lost her job, spent 3 days in jail.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, and for nothing, they didn't even have evidence of anything. And it was a legit case for a commercial insurance company to say, "Hey, we're going to pay half of this bill, half of her medical bills, and half of her injuries," is a lot because insurance companies don't like paying. So it was a lot for them to even do that. Except for this one guy. I
remember the other company was Windhaven, which is not even around anymore.
Oh yeah, Windhaven went out of business because of all the fraud that they were committing, but they don't call it fraud; they call it going out of business. Yeah, denying everyone's claim for material misrepresentation
and giving out policies with no BI.
Oh God, that's criminal right there. Mind you, the guy who owned Windhaven is like a multi-millionaire, him and his wife, and they donate millions of dollars a year, but they deny even more money in claims improperly. I'm so happy they went out of business. The only thing I hate about Windhaven going out of business is they owed me attorney's fees on about somewhere in a range of 100 to 200 PIP lawsuits. They owed me attorney's fees on. And I was livid.
Yeah.
And they took me to fee hearings on every single one of those to say that my fees were too high. And my fees are actually pretty reasonable.
Right.
But they just deny.
And now the next Windhaven, I guess, is Ocean Harbor. They got Pearl, whatever.
Yeah, Ocean Harbor Pearl Holding. That's another one that they deny a lot of people for material misrep.
I just had a case where this kid got run over. I think it was like 4-year-old got run over.
Oh wow.
By this guy, and so I got all the information, sent out a letter of representation, and Pearl Holdings like, "Oh, we don't have any bodily injury coverage." I'm like,
yeah,
and then the guy doesn't have any money. You know what I mean? So So now I got to look at my client and be like, "Hey, look, there's there's no money.
Yeah.
You can't get money out of nothing."
Turnip. Yeah, you can't squeeze the butt out of a turnip. Yeah, I hate. That's the one thing I hate about Florida is there is no BI coverage for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because of companies.
Some states have 20,000, 50,000.
Yeah. And so, PIP coverage is good, but then you have no BI.
Right.
And if you don't have assets, well, how am I supposed to get compensated? I mean, $10,000 in PIP is great and all, but I need money for injuries, rent, stuff like that.
$10,000 is not going to cover a broken arm, missed work and all that, right?
No, and so that's terrible. I would say 1 out of 8 cases we have in our office is no BI, no UM. So the person gets involved in an accident, it's not their fault, they're minding their own business, they're stopped at a red light, someone rear ends them, that person doesn't have bodily injury coverage, and then my client doesn't have uninsured motorists because they don't know what uninsured motorist coverage is. No one explains it
to them. When they sell them the policy, they're just like, "Here, sign here."
I was a lawyer for 3 years before I figured out what was all the different coverages. I was like, I understood PIP because that's what we did a lot of back then was just PIP suits. I had to learn crash course, what is BI, what is UM, and then I had to say, well, what do I have? A lot of people don't even know what they have. What are your limits at BI? That's the new pickup line, hey, how's the weather? It's no, what are your BI limits? Don't even talk to them. If they don't have.
What's your BI limits? Are you have uninsured motorists or what?
Yeah. It's freaking crazy, man, in Florida right now. But what other cases?
You're rocking Tennessee colors, bro. What are you
Are these Tennessee colors? This is it's the first day. It's the first day of October today.
So it is.
Rocking the orange.
Oh shit!
I even got orange socks on. See.
Orange socks. What about your Halloween party?
I got all the gray hairs too.
What are you gonna dress up?
Don't bring up my Halloween party. It's bad news.
Oh yeah.
We were gonna do it at Old School Square.
Okay.
Old School Square was accused by the city of Delray for stealing millions of dollars, apparently, in the news, something like this. And now they canceled my event that we had planned for 4 months.
Damn.
Canceled it. So now we're booking a new venue because this is our 8th Halloween party. We always do a killer Halloween party.
Yeah, they're great all the time.
That's right. If you're watching and you live in this
Halloween
area,
party,
check it out. So we're getting a new venue.
It's lit, as the kids would say.
We'll put up little fire symbols right now.
L-I-T. Yeah, just right here, lit. So you follow my finger, lit. There you go.
You guys speaking of the mic, Lewis. Damn, dude.
Dennis, you gotta edit that.
Dennis disappeared. So
he's done with our bullshit.
He's done with our bullshit. So what other cases do you want to talk about while we're here, and then we'll wrap?
I don't know. I think I'm good on cases, bro.
No more cases. No more client confidential. We did just get a phone call. We did just get a phone call like yesterday or 2 days ago, and we were chit chatting about it because someone called our call center, and we refer some of our stuff to Lewis because he's an amazing attorney, an amazing guy.
Well, thank you.
And so it was a mother concerned about her son who got stabbed in jail, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, damn, like. That's an injury case against the jail.
Right, against the jail.
For getting stabbed. I mean, I guess you could say that it was a negligent security case inside the jail. Like, there had to be multiple failures for someone to get stabbed. I want to know what he got stabbed with.
Right.
How did he get the tools to make that stabbing thing?
But the problem is there's probably a cap on it too, you know?
Oh, God, the sovereign immunity caps are the worst.
There's probably a sovereign immunity cap on that.
Yeah, I think they just increased the sovereign immunity caps a little bit. I think it's like 300 or 350 now.
Plus it's a jail, it's a prison, so it's like inherently dangerous. I don't know. Those are hard to prove.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're not going to want to settle. They're going to be like, settle. We have 10 of these a week.
Right, exactly.
If we pay you on one, we're going to have to pay everybody on everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then people are going to be stabbing people for money. Like, hey, let me stab you for money.
I got a lawyer who takes those kind of cases. Maybe we'll refer out to him. Yeah.
Okay. Because it's not even a police brutality type of case. It's literally
it's another inmate who stabbed him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's crazy. I don't even know. I thought we had a tough time going. Like, I have a guy right now. I mean, this is how shitty human beings are. Nice woman goes to a father dies. Okay, so this nice young girl who viewed that man as a mentor went to the guy's house, cleans the house because the guy's been dead for like a month, and his son wasn't taking care of the place. So she goes, cleans it up. 2 big dogs. One of the dogs nearly rips her arm off. Her arm is completely destroyed. She has no strength in her arm.
Jeez.
Pain. She's got a scar. The doctor who stitched it up did a horrible job. Huh?
What kind of dog is it?
I mean, this was like, what's that, like wolf-looking dog? It's like a wolf, like, I don't think it's a husky, though. It's something like that.
No, it's a German Shepherd.
Keto? Keto dog?
Oh, Keto, yeah.
Keto? Is that a dog?
I think so.
Keto? I don't know.
Not the diet, but the dog.
Yeah, yeah. And a keto. And a keto.
Not a keto, yeah.
Keto, something like that. Anyways, rips her freaking arm off. The son has somebody pick her up at the hospital. She had to get an ambulance. The ambulance came, got her. The hospital kicks her out afterwards. And this guy has no insurance, doesn't care, ghosted her, and she's got like $40,000 in medical bills and can't use her arm, can't work.
No homeowner's insurance?
We're looking into it. He doesn't want to cooperate and give it to us. That's how shitty people are. Like, if he had homeowner's insurance, so give me the insurance. I'll work it out with the insurance company. There's coverage for this.
I wouldn't have to sue you, right?
I wouldn't have to sue you. So we had to sue him. We had to sue the estate of his father's house because his father had money and his father had a house. And it was a nice house, man. It's like on 5 acres. Like, what kind of shitty people are you that you just won't say, here's a piece of paper that has the policy number, insurance info, call them. Right. Doesn't care. So we had to sue them both. But that's just, I mean, it's sad. You know, when people don't have money or don't have assets, it's one thing, but then they're just non-cooperative. So, yeah, cool. So if people are looking to find you, they can get you. What's your website, contact info?
Yeah, CartayaLegal.com.
CartayaLegal.com.
CarTaya Legal.com. You can call me 954-336-7307. You can reach me anytime.
Ya tú sabes.
Ya tú sabes hacer it.
You speak Spanish fluently?
Yeah, for sure.
Better than me?
Oh, way better than you.
Perfect.
It's my first language.
Llama ya.
Llame de Cartaya. Ya tú sabes. But yeah, I mean, criminal defense, NEPI, and like I said, you know, if there's something that you need help with that's neither of those two, and you need to just be pointed in the right direction, yeah, I could, you know, I have friends who are very skilled in employment law, workers' comp, whatever it is. Just give me a ring.
Hit them up. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for joining. Take care.